Hello, darkness, my old friend. You've come to talk with me again. Sens lose 5-2 to the Montreal Canadiens. How'd you sleep last night? 'Cause I kept having nightmares. All I heard all night was taunting. 5-2, 5-2, 5-2, 5-2. Enough with the 5-2. I am so sick and tired of the Sens losing to the Habs 5-2. That's 3 games in a row in a span of 12 days. 3 losses in a row. All by a score of 5-2. All to the Habs. All in a span of 12 days. Going into last night's game, I didn't even want to watch it. I literally told people before the game started, I don't want to watch this game. Ottawa always plays like crap against Montreal. They're always run out of the building. Sure enough, last night happens. Why? Why in the heck can you never show up against the Habs? They're not even a good hockey team. Every time this happens. Yes, the Sens are on the second night of a back-to-back, but that's no excuse. They played fine on the second night of a back-to-back many times this season. And you know what? If this was just about last night, I wouldn't be this angry. But this isn't just about last night. This is about an accumulation. I said it before, I'll say it again. Every time the Sens play the Habs, every time they get scared, they turn into chickens, and they start laying eggs. Like I said, this isn't a one-off, it's a constant. The Sens have lost 4 or 5 to the Habs. In those games, they've been outscored 22-11. In the last 11 games, the Habs are 9-1-1 against Ottawa. In those games, the Habs have 43 goals. Ottawa has 23. You're minus 20. Ottawa has lost 9 of 11 to the Habs. Only 1 of those losses came in overtime, and 6 of them have been by at least 3 goals. 6 of the last 11 Sens Hab games have ended with the Habs winning by at least 3 goals. Can you see why I'm upset now? Let's just get into lineup changes. The Sens made a few of them playing on their second night of a back-to-back. Christian Jaros returned to the lineup after missing the last 3 games with a lower body injury. And Tom Pyatt also returned to the lineup after being a scratch against the Wings. The Sens went back to their traditional 12-6 lineup, meaning Eric Bergdorfer and Stefan Elliott were scratched to make room for Jaros and Pyatt. Mike McKenna got the start and goal, as Andy was given the night off on the second night of a back-to-back. But in the early going, the fresh legs didn't make a hill of beans difference. Not even 4 minutes in, the Habs grabbed the lead. McKenna turns away Kulak's shot, but the Habs want the puck more than the Sens do, and Agostino wins the race. He turns around and fires it on goal. Harper blocks it, Pekka picks up the rebound, roofs it over McKenna, and the Habs lead 1-0. Fortunately, just 20 seconds later, the Sens respond. Brady Tkachuk takes the puck hard to the net, Carey Price falls down, and Colin White bangs home the rebound. Big time answer! Let's go! But of course, Tkachuk's stick hits Price's pad right before he falls down, so the Habs challenge for goalie interference. And of course, the Sens never win a challenge, so it'll get called back. Well, holy cannoli, it's not! The Sens are on the winning end of a challenge for once, and less than 4 minutes into the first period, we're tied at 1. To be honest, this is another close one, and one that could go either way. Tkachuk's stick absolutely makes contact with Price's pad, but is it enough to warrant the goal being called back? I don't know, but Price definitely fell down as soon as the contact was made. Regardless, the Sens get a break, and we're tied at 1. But not long later, the Habs hit the back of the net again, but the referee is waving it off. What just happened? Oh, Brandon, come on, man. You can't do that. Gallagher full out boots the puck into the net, gets caught, gives the ref a look like, oh darn you caught me, and the goal is called back. Thankfully, as a Sens fan, the game is still tied at 1. And thankfully, despite being absolutely caved in, the Sens get to the first intermission, still tied at 1. Even more impressive than the Sens managing to get to the first intermission tied at 1 was the fact that, despite being absolutely filled in again in the second period, they scored the period's lone goal. Just shy of the midway mark of the period, Mark Stone does Mark Stone things and steals the puck behind the Habs goal. He feeds Bodker in front, who one-times it by Price, and somehow the Sens have a 2-1 lead. The midway mark of the period, and the Sens got their first shot. Just awful. At least it was a goal, though. And again, despite the Habs absolutely filling in the Sens, somehow it's 2-1 after 2. Filling in doesn't seem like an appropriate word for the second either. The Habs outshot Ottawa 16-3 in the second period. Through 2 periods, the shots are Montreal 28, Ottawa 11. And early in the third, we start to see the game even itself out. It might have been a bit of bad luck, but with the way the first 2 periods went, let's face it, the Sens got what they deserved. Kotkaniemi flies through the neutral zone, and when he hits the Sens blue line, fires a shot through the legs of Bobby Ryan. It goes off the post, off Mike McKenna's back, and in the net. And just like that, we're tied at 2. Just way too easy all game, and way too easy going through the neutral zone on this play. But a few minutes later, the Sens have a power play and have a chance to regain their 1-goal lead. But the Habs immediately march down the ice. Lekkonen's shot lands on the stick of Danault. He easily taps it in the empty net, and the Habs lead 3-2. Wait a minute. The referees are meeting. The Sens definitely tripped the Habs in front. Are they ruling the whistle should have gone, negating the goal? No. The Sens never touched the puck. That can't be right. On the previous play, we have a hooking minor to Ottawa. Yep, that sounds about right. And an, oh, you're not done? Embellishment minor to Montreal. I guess not. Wait, roll that back for a minute. Did he just say an embellishment minor to Montreal? Holy man alive, he did. What an awful call. We have the benefit of replay, and I can tell you, thanks to that replay, the Habs were absolutely robbed, and that was absolutely the wrong call. It should have been a 3-2 Montreal lead. The Sens got a massively lucky break, and with the way they were playing, they didn't deserve it. But, in defense of the referee, it was absolutely the wrong call and absolutely a bad call, but the more you watched it on replay, the more it became obvious it was a bad call. Because we have replay, we have the opportunity to watch it from a bunch of different angles, and we can slow it down. He has to make a split-second decision based on what he sees in a high-speed situation. I can tell you, with the way Lekkonen went down, I can see why the referee thought it might have been an embellishment. When you go flying through the air like Lekkonen did, and he flew through the air, it makes the referee wonder. Add in the fact that the Sens player wrapped his arm around Lekkonen, and you could see why the referee might have thought he was selling it. He shouldn't have been flying through the air Bobby Orr style. He should have fallen in a heap. Having refereed hockey for many years, I can tell you, sometimes when you're on the ice you make a call that if you had the benefit of replay, you might have made a different one. But you don't get that luxury, and the NHL referees don't either. It was the wrong call. But given the speed, timing, and angle of Lekkonen's fall, I can understand why the referee made the call he did. It was still wrong. The Sens got a huge break with that one. Not only did the Sens get a huge break with the no-goal call, but both teams are sent off for a penalty, meaning the Habs lose a goal, get sent off on a coincidental penalty, and still find themselves shorthanded, as the Sens have nearly 2 minutes of power play time left. The Habs would kill it off, and they'd get a power play of their own. And while they didn't score on the power play, they did take advantage. The Habs hem the Sens in their own zone, and Justin Falk blocks a shot during the power play and hurts himself enough that he can't move. The Habs continue zooming the puck around, the Sens get running around and out of position, and then the penalty expires, and 9 seconds later, Shea Weber bangs home an Andrew Shaw shot, and it's 3-2 Habs. This one? Yeah, there's no doubt. And that pretty much finishes the game. 3.5 minutes later, Paul Byron easily taps one in the empty net off a nice feed from Kotkaniemi, and the Habs lead 4-2. Just brutal. The Habs made the Sens look like Christmas turkey and carved them up. It looked like the Habs were playing NHL 19 on rookie mode. They could skate and pass and do whatever they wanted. The other team was just kind of there to make it look like there was another team on the ice. They weren't actually doing anything. And before the game ends, the Sens pull their goalie, and surprise, surprise, the Habs hit the empty net thanks to Jonathan Drouin, and skate away with a 5-2 win. Don't go there, don't go there, don't go there. Don't go there, 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 don't go there. Another empty net fit. Nope, we're not going there. I'm done. Good news, bad news, it's time. We're going to make this quick, and we're going to make this easy. The Sens do not have to play the Habs again this season, and that is good news. Good riddance, Montreal. I've seen about all I can handle of you this season. Let's reconvene in 2019. Maybe by then, the Sens will learn how to play hockey against Le Bleu Blanc et Rouge. Not likely, but maybe. Now, for the bad news. Mike McKenna was terrific in the Sens goal, and that is bad news. Through the early part of the season, a big storyline for the Sens was their backup goalie woes. Well, last night's game was McKenna's third straight solid start. And the problem is, the Sens completely wasted it. Against a Habs team the Sens are trying to chase down in the standings, McKenna did absolutely everything he could to give his team a chance to win. The problem was, the Sens did absolutely everything they could to keep him from getting that win. It was an excellent start from the Sens' backup goalie, and it was completely wasted, and that is bad news. Honestly, McKenna deserved better last night. Next up, the Sens return home on Monday for a matchup with the Nashville Predators. The contest will be the second and final meeting of the season between the two teams, after the Preds won 3-1 at home last Tuesday night. The contest will also be Ottawa's third game in 4 nights, the second such time in a span of 10 days they've had that stretch. The Sens played 3 games in 4 nights, then got 2 days off, and then played 3 games in 4 nights again. Who made this schedule? It's just awful. The Preds, meanwhile, come into the game as only marginally more rested, having played Thursday, Saturday instead of Friday, Saturday. Ottawa's lost 5 of 6 to the Preds, but their lone win did come on home ice. Hopefully, they can win there again. See you Monday night.